A Harbor Freight pallet jack can lift more than my big tractor, but you drop a pebble in front of the wheels and it's done. Kind of like a mini skid steer. Building this trail, there's been about 4 or 5 times when I thought that mini skid would be great for this. And I take the 8 minutes it takes to drive it around here, and it can't even get to the area that I want to use it. Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farm, and today I want to talk about some negatives to mini skid steers. It's kind of a review of the entire category of the mini skid steer. Not so much a reflection on this Baumalight, which I believe the Baumalight is a very good model. I've been very happy with it. But when I think about the fact that people spend a lot of money on these machines, I feel like part of my job of having the blessing of making these videos and earning a living from that is a responsibility to the viewer that if someone's thinking about buying one of these and they've seen it on my channel, I want to tell you the bad with the good. Things this machine is good at and things it's not. I use this machine a lot when I have other machines here. I've got a tractor and an excavator and the mini skid steer and a side-by-side, and I've got all this equipment, and I find myself on this a lot because it has a niche. But today I was trying to use it and it was kind of dangerous. And I've seen some other up close and personal dangerous situations that arise from basically the amount of power you have in a compact space when you're not strapped to that machine. You're just standing on it, and with that small footprint, they can be a real tip hazard. And the small footprint is the reason that you want this machine. There are applications where nothing bigger would fit in the space. There's a reason to have it, but I want to show you the limitation to that. Now, if you guys watch the channel, you know that I'm building a trail here through the woods. It's a pretty steep hill, it's really rocky, and I thought this machine might be useful. And what actually happened is, I was in a rough spot, I had it all dug up, and I was driving the excavator across it, and the track popped off, and it happened in the worst possible place. The machine was sitting at an angle, kind of a funky angle. The track came all the way off and almost was kind of sucked up under the machine, and I didn't have any way to get around it. And I thought, that mini skid steer, I can maneuver it right up in here, get it right next to the track, and use the boom on the mini to kind of maneuver the track around, to push on the nose roller, things like that. And I thought this will be perfect. And then let me just show you what happens whenever I try to do that. So the excavator was parked right here and the track was off of it. All I needed to do was drive up this little spot here. Now if you look at the elevation, you can see there's rocks sticking up and it's uneven, but it's not a hill this way. It's a hill up that way, but going across here, it's really fairly flat. And what I needed to do, there's a big flat rock right up there. I needed to pull up next to that flat rock to do this work. And I about killed myself trying to get up there. And I tried for a while. I tried different ways. And it's not that challenging of a thing to do. And I would describe almost a mini skid steer like this is almost like having a 2-wheel drive pickup. If what you had before was a Toyota Corolla and you buy a 2-wheel drive pickup, you're like, man, this is awesome. I can pull a little trailer. I can haul a couch. You know, I can do different things with a truck that I couldn't do with a car. And it's amazing, but my dad has a 2-wheel drive truck now. And he came to visit and he parked in my yard on completely flat ground that wasn't standing water. Got stuck. Could not get out. Dug ruts around trying to back up and forward. I had to pull him out. And I want to do some demonstration here, but I want to make one more comment about it. I've become good friends with Greg from Our Life in Trees. And his channel is all about these mini skid steers. That's one of his primary focuses. He talks a lot about these mini skid steers and he loves them. They're better than a tractor. And they are, for certain applications, they're the perfect tool. But for other applications, they're just useless. And so that's what I'm trying to demonstrate. That before you get too excited and go out and buy one, at least know what it can and can't do. I moved those little rocks by hand because if I had not moved those rocks, we wouldn't even be able to start. With this first demonstration, what I'm trying to show you is how much of a steep angle this machine pitches you at when you're only going over very, very small rocks. Right here, those front tracks are way up in the air, and I feel like I'm about to tip over. And it's not a good feeling. And it shows the same kind of a problem that a full-size skid steer has. That essentially, if you've got yourself on flat level ground, you can work a grade moving out from that area. But on a spot like this rock hill, it's harder than it looks. And the difference with this machine is I'm not sitting on an air ride seat like on the full-side machine. I'm just trying to hang on, and it beats you up using it. Now, I haven't watched this video back. I have no idea what that looked like, but I know what it felt like. And I know it was a lot worse before because I spent 4 more hours working on this after we got the track back on, after I got the track back on, and kind of smoothed it out and made it better. So if you were watching there, I could not get to the spot I needed to get to, even though it looks pretty approachable. Now let's see if we can use this machine to flatten out a spot to get to. The mini excavator could not move, and I needed to get the front of this up against it to push on the tracks, lift the tracks with the forks. I could not get the machine to that spot because of a rock in the ground. Let's see if I can dig that rock out and get to that spot. As I watch this footage back, I realize it does not look the same on video as it feels when you're standing on it. But I'm trying to just push a couple rocks out of the way here. And every time I move forward, see my tracks are up in the air, and it's not caused by the bucket being on the ground. There's little rocks where the tracks are at, and they bounce the bucket up in the air when I go over the smallest thing. Now, as I watch this footage back, I kind of feel like I'm just an idiot and I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but it feels different when you're on the machine. And if someone's thinking about buying one, I just want them to try to get that experience of what it's like using this. So that's a recreation of what I was trying to do earlier. Is I thought, well, I'll push those rocks out of the way so I can set my machine there. Well, I couldn't push them out of the way. So I thought, well, I'll drive around here, turn around, and then push them out of the way from the bottom. I really wanted to get the machine set right there. And this is not, a mountainside. The rocks are big, but I couldn't do it. Let's try that again. You see how rough it is. Building this trail, there's been about 4 or 5 times when I thought that mini skid would be great for this. And I take the 8 minutes it takes to drive it around here, and it can't even get to the area that I want to use it. Watch again right here how far up in the air that front nose of the track comes. So today I had a specific task that I thought this machine would be perfect for. And turned out the only way I could have used it to do this task was to take 30 minutes with a shovel and a pickaxe to manually clear the area so it can get across those little rocks. It is what it is. The point of this is not that mini skid steers are bad. It's to understand that they are the most limited machine you could ever have on uneven terrain. If you need to move things around in small areas on flat ground, this is the machine for you. This is not a machine, like putting this on a trailer is hazardous to your health. If you buy this machine and it's shipped to you on a pallet, getting it off that pallet is its own obstacle. Like, pallets are 4 or 5 inches tall. Go ahead and drive that off of something 4 or 5 inches tall. It's like rodeo. If you can hang on, you might live, but it's not going to be easy to hang on. So I absolutely love this machine. The other thing I'll say is a lot of people brag about how much their mini skid steer can pick up. Oh, this mini skid steer can lift 2,000 pounds, but it's almost as big as a regular skid steer. Having the biggest mini skid steer is like being the tallest dwarf. You're just a short guy at that point. You don't get an award for having the biggest mini skid. If I wanted a big machine, I'd get one that I could sit down in and didn't have to worry about it rolling over on top of me. I love mini skid steers. This Bombolite's an awesome machine. I wanted to take a different approach to showing you what the machine is good at and especially what it's not good at. So I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.